Blair. Very simple, sexy, mid-length sort of haircut. It's done with the razor. Now the razor allows us to go in and cut lengths that aren't really even, but they give a texture that no other tool can do. And with the products, you can see this haircut just lights up. Okay, so let's have a look at Blair. She's got extremely thick hair, there's colour on it. I've been cutting Blair's hair for about 4 years now, and we've done everything from short, medium, long. She's got her hair long, and I like it. She likes it too, so we're going to work in and try and break through. Here we're doing, what are we actually doing here? We're looking at frame lines. That's funny. Anyway, let's look at the haircut. So what I'm going to do is go through and break up the texture, because I want the texture to be able to, she can wear it straight, she can pull it back, she can wear it down, but it needs to be a texture that looks sexy and amazing, you know, just with the simplest thing from a shampoo. These haircuts to me, you know, they can be very boring, because there's a tendency that, you know, it's just one of those sort of Jennifer Aniston, whatever her name is, and you know, let's cut it in the middle parting, make a V section, blah blah blah, boring. And you know, I think every haircut needs to have something exciting in it, not only for the client but for us doing it. So here actually we're using one before we had the label for it. That we're doing the makeovers probably 6 months before we had the products out, but you know, we were testing them, and she's a great model to test them on. So going through doing my wet down. She used the Atlantis shampoo we'd given her. I forgot what we gave her, but she used that to get the moisture back in, and here I'm using the one just to wet it down. The hair's clean, so got great feel to the hair, got a middle parting going. These haircuts are usually very simple, straightforward, in and out, but you know what, they're boring. What I want to do here is create a bit more excitement, putting the cape on. Even the capes we use, I want to still be able to see something underneath. You know, obviously we're in the studio, we're kind of showing off a little bit, but it's just an idea that I want to see Blair come to life with a haircut. And that's as much the goal as actually cutting bits of hair off, is that there's something that happens between the two of us after the consultation that is just quite beautiful, and she feels really cared for, her hair looks amazing, and you know, she's walking away with the right products. So you see I've got that gold comb. That's really the key to this haircut, the comb. Absolutely not. It's just a wide tooth comb. It lets me glide through the hair. I'm looking to see what sort of condition the hair's in, those lengths. I don't think I cut this haircut. Not that I'm saying, you know, that's a bad one or trying to get away with it, but I hadn't seen Blair for maybe 6 months. We've got a middle parting here, and I just want to go through and check that everything I saw when it was dry, there's no surprises when we start to dampen it down. And when I say dampen it, that's why you use the one, so it's not saturated, it's not dripping wet. Cutting hair with a razor, you need the reaction, and you'll get it if the hair's prepped properly. Preparation in anything you do in your life is so important, and for me in haircutting, absolutely a must. I want to make sure that once I start, I get going, and we get to that point as quickly as we can and as accurately as we can. So combing all this forward, you see my parting is starting from the recession. I'll just show you that there. Moving forward, it just works its way back to the crown. So we got like a huge bang section, you could call it. And you know, if I was going to cut that much bangs on her, it'd be an awful lot of hair at the front of her face. So it'd either need to be really long or just hammered to death with a razor, so it's quite thin. But anyway, not what we're doing. And sorry for the distraction, but reacting to these haircuts, maybe, you know, 3 months after you do them. It's fantastic. I wish I could do it with all my haircuts, because it does give you the ability to look back and see and address those points, because, you know, I'll change the techniques on haircuts, but my structure is always there. You know, I have structure in sectioning and the way I cut. I've got a lot of discipline in my hairdressing, but it allows me the freedom to react to what I need on that individual. Probably talking to Amanda, who's running the cameras right now. And hope you don't mind it. This is quite casual, but that's what R+Co is. It's on point, but you know, we're not pretending that we're all like, oh, living in a big spaceship here. Anyway, back to the haircut. Working down, picked a point right around the nose and sliding that right the way through one section. So that gives me that sort of long bangs that will sweep away. Now I'm coming from behind. Let's just slow that down there. You see me, you see that? It just works from short to long. So what did we do there? We have almost created a triangle right at the front. Now, why does that work? It works because I've got the shape at the face around the front, and then I've got that separation starting from the back. And that's what's different about our type of hairdressing. It's not fancy, it's functional. So you see me again here using the tip, working down. Then I'll come back into that behind the section and work forward to create, I guess it's like a crazy triangle. But anyway, it's a point. So I have that short bit, almost, it's not even with the front, but then you get the long bit in the middle. And it's all about versatility, as you'll see with this. And working back, just having another little look. Probably going to take out the weight in the middle, absolutely, because I don't need it to be like a bell that just swings from side to side. It needs to have fluid movement, you know, that's what sexy is. Then I'm getting a bit shorter here, just breaking that line. Now, I did that because when I combed it over to the side, I felt something. I felt it was too heavy, and I come back and readjust it right there. And have a look at the side. Now, I'm not doing a haircut here. I'm cutting into hair to allow it to start to be free. The texture changes. You know, I'm not, it's not, I couldn't even say what this kind of haircut would be, like a mad bob or something, but it's not. It's about just releasing weight. She's got a great texture. What I need to do is find it and help it be there every time she touches her hair, combs it, puts product in. You know, that's what my job is as a hairdresser, and that's the fun part, is really exploring a very, very simple haircut. This is still long hair, and you know, it's still sexy, it's still very functional, but it doesn't mean it's boring. So my next section, I'm going to come through and work from behind again. So we have that shorter to long piece. Normally these haircuts is the opposite way. When you do it the opposite way, you're kind of working against the natural growth, which makes it a weird kind of like bob with hair hanging out the bottom of it. But with this, we create a bit more, something that's a bit more fluid. So continue. This one, I'll work the front. When I say the front of the section. And the haircut is section by section, and each one changes. Like there, I just nip the ends because I'm starting to get and have to create my baseline. So that's really important that that's not all weak and wispy and crappy. So, because those haircuts, they just look immature. So, same again, working the back. There's my length, make sure it's there. And it's not a given that, oops, so I work the back, then I work the front, then I work the back. It's not like that. Each one is very different. Here I've got the front, and I've got the front there because that section comes from the crown, and it's the surface, it's not the baseline. So that's why I can go in a bit more with it. I'll come over, always checking. I've just done something on that side. Now I need to make sure that marriage is there. The texture that I've just cut in works with what I've got going at the front, because that was my lead. Now I have to follow with the rest of the haircut. And a little bit more of one, and not letting the hair dry out too much. When someone's sitting looking at themselves in the mirror, you have to make sure that the hair's not hanging, sticking out their ear or in their mouth, or just keep that quality, always making sure that everything looks tight, looks amazing, and they start to feel and see that there is a big change. If it's dried out, if the hair's getting frizzy, it's just not professional. So I'll show you that section there. It comes and curves from my parting at the recession to the crown, and then down to right on top of the ear. That split there is a natural split, so I'm going to use that as my guide to get into this front area. I wouldn't suggest you put the products in your pocket like I do, because you probably have somewhere to put it, but anyway, you'd end up with a wet jacket. So, combing down, checking, working from the back. You see it quite good here. Working to the front, and working back. And it's nothing like the other side, except for I'm using a razor, and I'm creating these sections that break the texture of the hair, breaking at the surface. So working from the back all the way forward, then I work the front. That's my baseline, so you see I didn't work in as much. Checking those lengths. I'm really enjoying cutting hair like this, because you'll laugh when I say it's precise, but it's very precise. It's very precise to the fact that I'm in control. I know what I'm good at about cutting hair. I know what the razor does. I think I understand her texture, but there's always surprises. So I've got a lot of no's, a lot of knowns in here, a lot of things that do work. So now it's just exploring really the haircut and creating something that's special. It's customized for her. It wouldn't work on anyone else. Similar textures, yeah, but every haircut's very different, very special, especially like this. If you're doing, a great one length little bob, please, that's the way to do it. For me, for this kind of haircut, this is how I do it. And I don't say this is the only way you cut hair. Here we just check. We're going in. Cutting the length while I'm cutting the interior, because I want a little bit of translucency. I want the hair to look like it's grown out, and I'm not cutting a straight line and then try to break the line. So we're continuing through the back. Those sections working, I've now got that section right above the ear and taking subsections down into the back. As I work through, you see me work higher where I've got more hair. On the side there, as I'll point out, there's less hair, so there's no use me going in as deep. Otherwise I'm going to end up with a hole, separation, inconsistency, not cool. But as I get to the back, especially through the center, we're going to go a lot deeper, and it's the only place in the head where I want height. So look how deep I go here. That's what it takes. Now I've got everything in there to create height through the crown if I want it, take the weight out where there's too much hair, or not, you've never got too much hair, but where the hair's more dense, and you see it again, deep, cutting the length. I've spent half of my career working with a razor, so don't worry if you think that this is too far ahead for you. Find your spot that you're comfortable with, find the tool you like to use, and start there, because comfort is very important in cutting hair. If you're worried about not being able to hold the razor properly, start at the beginning. There's nothing wrong with starting with a safety razor, little bits here and there. Build up at your comfort level. But when you're ready, this is amazing how to cut hair like this. I spent my whole career building to this, and it's what I want you to get to if you want. You don't want to do it, you do what you do. Use the products, fair enough. But for us, there's a whole feel. There's a modern feel with the products that I want to just explore with it. The textures and stuff, and the razor gives me the ability on this haircut. Next haircut, completely different. The game changes haircut to haircut. You can't go to the salon and go to work and say, oh, yep, this is what I'm doing today. And if you do, maybe we need a couple of days off, just rethink what we're doing, and then go back with, all right, I'm going to change what I do today. I'm going to change one of my clients every day. Not all of them the next day, one at a time. It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time, so that you can actually enjoy it and not force yourself into anything. Here's a little twist I do. Again, all these lengths, they're starting to come together. They drop out of my section. It's sexy, it's beautiful. It's just the way that I like to see hair move, and every opportunity I can get to do that, I'm all over it. So I'm off to the other side now. Do my check here, working above the ear, a little bit further back than last time, but it's because there's less hair on this side, not because I'm sloppy, but I need the right amount of hair to move the blade through it without me cutting thin air. That's not cool. You need a fair amount of hair to get the razor to take out that weight. So in the back, just working, and again, side to side. Each section's got its own little bit. I just done from the back there because that section sits right on above the shoulder. Same here, taking it out. I don't want to thin the hair there, but I'm taking it from the back because that's where I've got all that weight, and it's where I can eliminate weight much easier. Same again here, just working through it. I'm just clipping the ends so that I cut the length. And think about it, it's really what makes sense. I need hair where I need it. I'll take hair away where it's too thick. It's just common sense. I think hair cutting is quite easy. It's all of the other parts like consultations and everything else that, not that they're hard, but that's where you spend the time and sort of map out what you really want to do. So that this part, it's just like, a ballet. You're moving through and just cutting hair. It's quite a beautiful thing. And again, a little bit higher here because I'm moving into the middle of the back where I can afford to get more texture, more lift, more height. Look how relaxed she is. She's not biting her nails or, she's very confident. And that's so important. And even though I've cut Blair's hair before, the consultations where we get rid of any anxiety. I told her exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not the kind of hairdresser that says, yeah, we'll cut an inch off and then I cut 6 inches. I'd be absolutely pissed if someone did that to me. and that's what it's about, just repeating that type of sectioning, feeling through it, every section you're feeling with your hands, and just making sure it's feeling even, it's feeling good, and when I say even, it's not like you're measuring it to see that every section's the same, but the balance, the weight feels good, and it's not lopsided. So quite high here into the crown. It's pretty good. You see that texture. So, getting my hands in the hair, starting to pull the texture apart. You see me sort of go mad there with the razor and recklessly cut her hair. I mean, that's what some people say when they watch me cut hair, but when they see the end result, it's very sexy, it's on, it's classic, it's just a little bit more special for me cutting hair like this, because it's been 25 years working to a point where I'm very comfortable about the kind of hair I do, and knowing what I can do. And here I'm just pulling it all back. Even though I was cutting into hair, this hair can still stand up as a very clean, polished, flat ironed, chignon, French twist. If I was limiting the hair the way I cut it, I would stop cutting hair that way. That's not the idea. My idea is that my haircuts are so versatile that they can go in so many different ways, and that really comes from the studio. It comes from photography, that we have to work on 5-6 different looks a day, and having the versatility in a haircut is so important. And then married up with the products, you got a hit. You're in control. You're doing what you do best. And just wetting down a little bit more here, because I'm going to do a bit of a hand dry, which is a great thing. I think we don't get our hands in the hair enough, and every chance we get, every class you'll do with me, we're going to be hand drying hair, because feeling products in the hair, what you've just done with the haircut, it's so important. So going through, making sure I've got nothing that's just long pieces, or now I'm just sort of taking out some of those ends. It's got that colour, so she's a little bit crispy on the ends, but nothing that a pair of scissors can't help out here. Now we're working right through the top, right through the surface. We've already gone in quite deep, but as we get around the crown, I want a lot of texture in there, and just around there. I'm not going to cut those lengths in around the face, because it'd make no sense and end up with those short bits, or just awkward hairdressing. So coming back and down, and then you see it right there, just taking out that weight and lengths that allow me to move this hair around. The hair will move well from the crown above the ear, and you just see that texture. All those bits I cut in, that's not just to show off, that's to make this haircut function. And no matter what, end of the day, doesn't function, you're just a normal hairdresser. Well, maybe I can't say they're normal hairdressers. If it doesn't function, then we're not doing our job right. And nothing worse than not walking away that you could have done something more. And I know we've all done that, when you let someone get away sort of half done, but not these days. We have to take control. So checking the hair, look at the movement, and this is just with shampoo in one, and you can see the texture. The hair's controlled, it's not flyaway, and that's both from all of the products, the shampoo, conditioner, and the one. And checking it, same again, spending the time to get those results. So you can see here what we had before, what we got now. That's why I always think that befores and afters are amazing, even for the clients. Use them on the iPad, use them on the app. Have a reference of what you've done, because people forget quite quickly that their hair looked like, look at Blair's hair before. You know, now it's a huge difference, and that's what we do. And it's amazing to remind people how important we are, and our haircuts and what we do. You know, we have to bring that professionalism back to our work. And you know, even though it looks deconstructed, it's right on. It's perfect. It's very calculated, and it still has we still have the ability to be very creative, cutting hair the way we want, but giving people the looks, the haircuts, the products that make them feel and look absolutely amazing. Every time you touch the hair, they think of you. They think of the hairdresser, and that's a great compliment. So I'm looking here really at that texture, seeing all my little bits. You know, those cutting from behind, cutting in front. You know, are they working? And do I need a bit more? If I need less, that's going to be in about 3 months, because it's too late. So it's important that we don't overcut the hair as well. Looks fantastic. And I'll take the dryer now. I'm just going to sort of go through. I use my hands a lot. I like to feel the hair. I like to roll the hair into the palm of my hand and dry it. It's kind of like, you know, I trained to hand dry everything, and before I even used a brush, before I backcombed, we were trained to do that. So it's something to me that's so important, and it just gives me the ability to manipulate hair the way that nothing else can. Nothing else can do it the way your hands can. The oil on your hands, you know, working products into the hair with your hands, just the grip, you know, you're rubbing through the hair, you know, you're creating volume. It's almost like in shampoo when I can't remember his name. He's scrunching the lady's hair in the salon, and it's just amazing. Not Dustin Hoffman, Warren Beatty. Anyway, when Warren Beatty sort of scrunchies that lady's hair in shampoo, it's amazing. If you've never seen shampoo, I really envy you, because you've got a treat in store. So the dryer got a nozzle on it. To me, it doesn't matter, but there was a nozzle on it. So blowing the roots out. You can see here we've got these capes that are translucent. We made them. The ability to see our clients were so important. Getting Blair to feel through her hair. She's super fun. Really shy girl, but amazing. And she knows she looks good. She trusts me. And I always try and take that trust a little bit further every time, but in a good way. So just we're going to send her off, get some makeup, and but before that, I'm just going to dampen the hair a little bit, and then use the aircraft in her hair. And because it's got the pomade in it, the hair's quite coarse and it's quite dry, so the aircraft's going to give it a really good amount of weight in the hair. It's going to give it the flexibility and a little bit of hold, but more importantly, it's the product that will work for her day to day, just you know, as the go-to product. There's multiple products that I could use on her hair, but as the day to day, shampoo, aircraft, that's the way to go. So I'm going to take the aircraft. I'm going to show Blair exactly how much I want to use. Yeah, you see her reaction there. It's a lot of product. I use a lot of product because I know how to control it. I know that at home, she'll use half this amount, because obviously, first of all, it's a huge handful and it'll slide all over the place. But just making sure that I want to show you the extremes with the products, how far they go, and then you take them to where you're comfortable with them. The clients are the same. You know, use smaller amounts, add to it when you need it. So don't go in heavy-handed like me, because that's what I do. You know, I make the products, I know how they work, I take them to extremes, and there you go. I'm using even more. The reason I'm adding more is just because I want to see, you know, these haircuts, you know, we're still working, we're getting, these are samples of the products, to be honest. You know, these haircuts were done 2013. So we were definitely had real products, but they were in white bottles and stuff like that. But they were final products. So I'm also testing my products here, and you see, actually, you see how they work, and you know, it's a great thing because you get to see function at the highest level, and then you decide what level do you need, you know, and that's really important for us, that we give you the option and you see the extremes for us. If we just put on a couple of, you know, quarter size amounts, what if you do want it, you know, really big and super curly, you know, is that enough? Absolutely not. So it's our role as the creators and founders of the brand that we show you everything. You know, we don't hide stuff. You know, we want you to know as much about this brand as possible, and to get behind it. You know, help us create what this brand is going to be. So I got my comb, going through, really just making sure the product's evenly distributed through the hair. You know, and and that's so much. It's really, really important is that we control the hair. You know, when you've got Garen and Tom working on set, their job's really about controlling hair, and how clever they do that. That's the magic. Is that not only can you pick it up, it's got tooth, it's got hold, it's got lift, but what can you do with all those things, you know, and take classic looks and make them modern? So that's really why products are so important in the studio, and to me, they're as important, and to Garen and Tom, they're as important in the salon, because everybody who comes to the salon should have the ability to walk out with hair that could be on the cover of Vogue. So we'll just get rid of this, and we'll go to the dry. Oh, there's a nice, oh, that was like a hair show. Oh, there we go. I'm going to smother myself there. So we've got the product in. I'm going to, first of all, congratulate her on a fantastic modelling job, and we're going to go and get some makeup done, bring her back through, and then we'll finish off the haircut, because it's amazing right there, the difference a little bit of makeup makes. And it's also given me the time for the product to sit in the hair and dry in. And it's not completely dry, but you saw the amount of product I used. I can still get my hands through this hair. Very malleable, it's got a shine, it's got movement, you know, the natural movement's there. What I'm looking at and I'm reacting to on the screen is all those bits of hair that we cut. That's what I'm looking at, and how they all blend together and make the haircut look special and individual for her. So going through, separating it, feeling that I've got that separation. I just want to make sure everything's working, because at this point I can still go in and take some more hair out if I have to. You know, it's never too late until they walk out the door. Then you've just missed the whole plot, because once they're out the door, they're free to go anywhere else. And for me, the only place to go is back to us. Checking up, just making sure the hair moves, goes up, down. I always like that kind of rockabilly feel. Sort of squeezing it in my hands, and she's looking to see what I'm doing, you know. and so it's registering that, oh, I can do this. I can put my hair up. I can put it in a top knot. Whatever it is. This isn't just playing with hair. This is showing someone the ability and how much experience this haircut will bring, on a daily basis to her. So we just changed it. You can see, got a little bit more sexy there, maybe a bit disco-y, or is that the makeup? Probably a bit of both, but just exploring the haircut. So now I'm going to put a little bit of Continental in the hair. Now a lot of people might worry that we're putting wax into the hair, but remember how we started this style. We used a moisture shampoo, we used Aircraft, which has got a pomade in it, and the mousse. Now the wax is actually going to give me a little bit more distinctive, a little bit more of a sort of distinctive texture. It's going to increase the contrast, and if I want volume, where I'm putting it is so important, right through the hairline. This is the kind of secret thing you do on set, to get hair when you're going to use wind on it. And it's all of those things like that we bring back to the salon, because what we're doing by putting it on the hairline is just increasing the contrast a little bit, and making hair a little bit more sexy. And believe it or not, the constant is as far as a wax, it's giving me a little bit more height. So, and it looks amazing. I mean, she looks dynamite. That's insane. And it's our roles as hairdressers it's just about exploiting beauty. She might not ever do this, but when she's sitting in my chair or in the studio, I'm doing it. And that's what we do in the salon. We exploit, we show, we go beyond, even though they never ever do it. Have a look. What do you think? And that's what's there. Spending the time, the extra few minutes, it means so much more to someone who's coming in, every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, that they see that you're just so engaged in what you do and want to exploit how they look. That's a fantastic thing to be able to do. I don't know where I went. I think I fell on the floor there. Get my dryer. Now I'm going to blow dry the wax into the hair a little bit more and bring all this together. So with the use of technology, we sped up that blow dry because I want to get to this part and show you this texture, which is, it's clean, it's separate, it doesn't look overweighed down by products. That'd be awful. It's sexy, it still moves. Remember how much product I put in it. That was a lot of product, and we're still getting this beautiful separation. The colour's working a lot better. Now I'm using a little bit more of the Continental, and I scrape this stuff onto my hands. You see here, rubbing it in, making sure it's melting into the hands, getting it on my fingertips. Now I'm just using it through the ends. This is my second load of Continental in the hair, because it works into the hair. It's not actually, full of petroleums and grease that makes hair greasy. It's like a wax that has the ability to change, the longer it's on the hair. Even accelerating it with a dryer will push it in a little bit more into the hair. But most importantly, what I'm using it here for is contrast. And you'll see me going through, and that separation, that's what's sexy. It makes it modern. My haircut was very simple, but the combination of great products, a great haircut, that's what R+Co is all about. I've spent 25 years of my life practicing for this, and I don't know if I'm ready yet, but I'm at a point where I can control hair the way I want it. I've got my look, and it's through these films that we'll share this with you. And maybe they're too raw, I really don't care. It's what we do, and it's an emotional thing to relook at haircuts and go through it and explain what you're doing. But it's the only way we do it, and maybe the next one we'll be laughing through it. Maybe, you know, everything's different, and everything we do every 45 minutes, every hour, every half an hour, every 5 minutes is different, and it doesn't mean it has to be bad. It means it has to be looked upon as a very different subject matter every time we do it. So maybe I got a bit deep there, but hey, you know, sitting in an office in San Diego editing my films. Anyway, she looks amazing. My job's done. You know, I'm very happy with that. That's a winning haircut. And what can you say? Fantastic little flick. Put the camera on her, take some pictures. You know, it's everybody. And by the way, she's not a model. All our models, we find them on the streets. Amanda goes and looks for people on the internet, on the street. These are kids who walk through the malls, they walk through your streets, they walk through your salons. We have to start to open up and look and find. And there she goes. Brilliant.